Now on Talking Music, we are joined by Paul English, who is the author of A Pop Fan's Dream. Check out this fantastic blog at popfansdream.wordpress.com. And I know you've been enjoying the Now Yearbook videos, and Paul has compiled something very interesting. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Chris, and thanks very much for having me. Yes, A Pop Fan's Dream was and is kind of on a hiatus for reviews, but I'm still working on mixes and just general writing articles, one of which is Plus. I found that the Yearbook was a great spin-off, one of the best ones the Now team have done in years, and I also had a great mop-up with 3 more CDs of the year's hits. Ultimately, licensing prevents the team from getting chart hit, or in some cases it's laid down to labels or artists or whatever. And there's in other cases there's just maybe a blind spot with certain tracks, or some don't, because they're cherry picking the past as opposed to, time. There's invariably some omission. So the purpose of my Extra Plus series is a 2 CD mop up, a virtual Spotify playlist. I've kept to disc, so the total running time is going to be around 2 hours 37 or 38 minutes, and it's obviously sequenced to be played in, not on shuffle play or random. So the first one I did was, the first one I'll talk about tonight is Now Yearbook Extra Plus 1981, which is a 40 track double CD, 21 tracks in 19. So I'll just start going through the tracks. That's okay.
There's some great ones. I mean, my favourites from disc 1, just my personal ones, I'd say Bill Wyman, Just Being Rockstar. That's a great one that obviously was omitted. And daft ones like Racing, Run Around Sue, which is a great one from 81. But what about yours?
Well, I decided to start with Start Me Up because it's an obvious one. It's the first Rolling Stones track they allowed to be used in advertisements. It was used to launch Windows 95, if you're old enough to remember that track. So it just really sets the scene. The Bowie track is another favorite as well. Probably one of the lesser Scary Monsters, but a fine track. Then you have some nice rock tunes that didn't maybe hit the mark chart-wise, like Dire Straits' Romeo and Juliet, Springsteen's The River, and Steve Winwood's While You See a Chance. And after that, obviously kicked off their chart hits in 1981. So we've 2 tracks from them on this. We've New Life on disc 1 and Just Can't Get Enough on this. Unfortunately, they're omitted from the Now Yearbook and extras, presumably to do with mute, because Yazoo aren't there as well. So favorite as well is the kind of like the comedy end sequence at the end with Joe Dolce's Music Theatre, the track that Ultravox fans the capstick from the Hovis adverts with Capstick Comes Home. So I think it's a nice mix, and some throwbacks to the past with, as you artist from the glam years.
And obviously, disc 2, you've got Tempted, which was a great song omitted from the 81 releases.
Yes.
And George Harrison, which was possibly like the last. Was it the last time that the Beatles got the 3 of the Beatles got together? I might be wrong on that fact.
I think well, yeah, the 3 of them. It's 1981. I think it possibly is. I'd have to double check, but
yeah,
it's one that kind of gets missed, the tribute, so it was nice to include it. There's a bit of a Brit funk sequence, within Third World. Then you have Level 42 starting off with Love Games from their, a very funky first album. And we get into The Cure with single Charlotte Sometimes, a little bit of New Romantics with, The Thin Wall and Love Song. And we finish up then with the madness of Kate Bush's Sat on Your Lap and Laurie Anderson's Oh Superman, which I still can't get over. It got to number 2, 8 minutes.
It's a long song. It's such a long song.
Yeah, there was no like I say, I think it's 8 minutes 25 seconds. There's no edit, there's no promo version even. So I can't imagine it got that much airplay at the time. I don't recall hearing it. I do remember, obviously, seeing the top. Yeah, amazing to see how diverse the charts were in 1981 when something like that could, get as far as second place. And I think it's nice, Chariots of Fire, from the film. So yeah, the 1981, I think it hangs together quite well. There's but there wasn't much that I had to compromise on, apart from the use of a couple of album versions, 7-inch mixes, but there's not too much of that in this particular one. So Spotify has got a lot better in the last couple of years in terms of playlists or recreations. There's a lot more there than there used to be.
Well, we're going to put the list of the link to the playlist on the video so people can find it.
Okay,
great. And we're pushing for time. So what we're going to do is we're going to say bye for now, Paul, for the 81. People take a look at the 81 playlist. It is such a good playlist. Check it out. And Paul, thank you for joining us for this first part of the 81 plus. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Chris.